So in 1522, yet another fortress was preparing for a last stand against the relentless Ottoman Empire, with it this time being the island of Rhodes, held by the remnants of the crusading order of the Knights Hospitallers, who got to enjoy some quality time with the Turks. Rhodes was one of the last islands in the Aegean Sea to hold out against the Ottoman expansion, and the Hospitallers who lived there, numbering no more than 500 usually, were an absolute menace, constantly attacking Turkish shipping lanes and providing a safe haven for Christians. In 1521, Suleiman I ascended to the Ottoman throne and wanted to mark his ascension with the customary conquest, so set his sights towards Rhodes. However, this wouldn't be the first rodeo for the defenders with the Ottomans at Rhodes. 40 years prior, in 1480, they had come under siege from a humongous Ottoman force numbering around 40,000 compared to their 4,000. However, they managed to beat them off, with Mehmed II vowing he would go round 2 with Rhodes. However, he died the following year, so he never got his rematch. The Hospitallers had been busy boys though the last 40 years, making their fortress the best defended on earth, hiring the greatest Italian engineers to make it defensible against the rapid advancements in gunpowder technology. They built immensely thick walls and protruding bastions, so no enemy could advance without being hit by multiple angles, as well as their walls and parapets being slanted to deflect gunpowder shots, as well as massive internal defences, and on top of that, they of course built massive fuck-off ditches in front of their walls. Despite the medieval period being over, the Hospitallers were a relic of the age, and knew the importance of the old medieval saying, if you make ditches, you get bitches. By late June, the Ottomans had rocked up with their usual thousands of troops, possibly even as high as 100,000, as they surrounded Rhodes by land and sea, employing their monstrous cannons, as well as thousands of sappers to undermine the city walls and collapse them, with one source suggesting around a third of their army was tunnellers. The defenders, heavily outnumbered, totaled around 8,000 of mercenaries, locals and Hospitallers, who were split up into different nationalities to defend defensive zones. However, they had an ace up their sleeve, one of the finest military engineers of the day, Gabriele Tadini. Tadini helped refine the defences, creating magnificent killing zones, as well as employing great countermeasures to stop the Ottoman tunnelling, and in case he missed the tunnel, he drilled spiral vents in the foundations of the walls, so if an explosive did go off, it would disperse all the force of it. A month into the siege and his work had stopped around 50 of these Ottoman tunnels. However, disaster struck as one tunnel went unnoticed and explosives went off, breaching a hole in the wall around 10 metres wide where the English Hospitallers were defending. The Ottomans poured into the breach where vicious hand-to-hand fighting ensued. However, they were repeatedly beaten off by the Valiant defenders to great loss of life, and the numerous failed assaults damaged their morale greatly. Another huge assault was repelled on the 24th of September, with Suleiman now beginning to grow tired of his generals. However, men and supplies were beginning to run low in the city, and no cannon could be fired without the Grand Master's permission, as their master engineer Tadini was hit in the face by a musket ball, but he refused to die and was now wounded and out of action. The Ottomans soon gained a foothold around the Spanish bastion. However, a makeshift wall inside the city quickly held them off, as freezing rains now hit in October, decimating both camps with disease, as another assault at the end of November by the Ottomans failed once again. 5 months in, the siege had reached a stalemate, as the city was no longer defensible, but the Sultan was watching his army lose massive amounts of men every single day. Just before Christmas, a truce was agreed to let the defenders leave the island with safe passage, with the siege costing both armies around 75% of their troops. But the capture of Rhodes opened up the Mediterranean Ocean to the Ottomans, where the Hospitallers and Ottomans would once again meet again at the Siege of Malta in 1565.